That is one big pile of shit.
Hello and welcome back to another Midnight Showing. As always, I'm Kelly, and 2015 is over! And by Jesus God, we had some bad movies come out. Now, to be fair, there were also a lot of really good movies, and a lot of great ones even. If you want to see those, check out the other list. And as by evidence of my empty bottle, I have nothing to drown my sorrows out anymore, so yeah, time to talk about bad movies again. Don't you just love it when you have a job? And because I refused to take one movie off this list and I couldn't think of anything to replace it with, this shall be a top 11 list. Yes, I will copy the Nostalgia Critic for this one because holy shit God, I refuse to take that off the list. I'll talk about it when I get to it. In the meantime, here are some of the dishonorable mentions. Terminator Genesis. Yeah, why did the Terminator movies need to be rebooted again? Wait, they weren't rebooted because this is partially a sequel, right? No, it's a fucking reboot, and we all know it. The action was lackluster, the story barely comprehensible to anybody with a working brain, and by God, you spoiled your best twist in the fucking trailer! How am I supposed to like that movie? Poltergeist. Yeah, here's another reboot for you. Instead of having good scares, just a bunch of CGI shit everywhere. Yay! Point Break. I really honestly thought this one was going to be on the actual list, and the fact that I made it top 11 and it's still not on the list, that says a lot. Sinister 2. Now, unfortunately, this is one of those ones that I went and saw and did record a review for that even had some action inside of it with me fighting the ghoul lookalike, but yeah, I just didn't have time to edit it. Needless to say, the movie sucked. It wasn't Sinister, it was Children of the Corn fucking 12 with a sinister monster. And hell, what did Bagul even do in the fucking movie? Answer, nothing. The kids did everything, and they were ghost kids, and whatever the fuck it is, I don't know. It sucked, don't see it. The Green Inferno. Here's another one that I predicted in my review that I was actually going to be on this list, and it's getting a dishonorable mention. Yeah, that's how bad this year is. I raged at that movie and screamed at the top of my fucking lungs, and it is still worse than that. Save me now! Now on to the actual list. Number 11. Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. Hey, you want to see a movie with more unlikable characters than that douchebag that was inside of the Green Inferno? Well, I've got one for ya! This idea can work and has merit. We have seen it work not once, but twice. How do you fuck this up? Answer, you take 3 unlikable immature douchebags, you take a bunch of zombies that don't act like zombies except for when they do because it doesn't make any sense, and what else? You shit all over this guy. I am not even kidding you. The movie literally ends with them shitting on him. And you know, I'm going to do what I should have done a long time ago with this poster. Now, if you'll excuse me. that was so cathartic.
Number 10. Transporter Refueled.
Now this year we had a lot of lackluster action movies between Taken 3, Agent 47, Transporter, Terminator. Whichever one's the one worst in your mind, go ahead, pick it, because this one's the worst in mine. Transporter Refueled is a testament to how well Jason Statham can carry a movie, because I will be the first one to say it. All the other Transporter movies aren't that great. But Statham is a very charismatic character, and yes, he's just playing the same character he plays in every film, but by God, you just love watching him. That, and he can do the action scenes. He can actually do them. The piece of fuck they got to replace him? Not so much. The story is a paint-by-numbers Transporter movie, and by God, is it boring. Boring. And if that wasn't bad enough, I actually heard that they're making a second one. Sum it up, don't go see this movie. Hell, don't go see any movie I put on this list. If you do, by Jesus God, I will hunt you down and I will kill you.
Number 9. Paranormal Activity 5.
Now, like I said inside of my best list video, this year was a horrible ass year for horror. By God, most of these made my potentials on this list. If you can actually read that, you can actually see that the first 5 or so are horror films. And why is that? Mostly because of this franchise and all the lookalikes. Look, found footage is a genre, I understand that. But at the same time, it's not gonna be good unless you put some fucking effort into it. By God, Shyamalan! M. Night Shyamalan understood this! Why can't you, Paranormal Activity? I will be the first one to admit, the first one wasn't my cup of tea. In fact, none of the found footage have never been my cup of tea. But I will say that the first one, and even the second one, had some scares, had some effort put into it. They actually did build suspense in an environment that, well, gained suspense, I guess is the best way to put it. But by the time that the third one came around, we were tired of this shit. We needed something new. The fourth one was a joke. I don't even know how the fifth one got greenlit. Probably because they made it with $10,000 fucking budget. I don't know. It just... The most impressive thing about the Paranormal Activity series was that you never got to see what was going around. In this one, they have a camera that can film the fucking ghost. If they just watch the damn tape, guess what? They know something's up, and they should probably go get some help and fucking run. What do? Nothing. Fucking nothing. For a fucking week they do nothing. And they finally do something, and guess what? It doesn't fucking work. Why? Because we want to show off a CGI ghost after we cover it with a sheet. That stupid ghost trick they made fun of inside of Beetlejuice, remember? You know, I honestly can't showcase how well this doesn't work. There was one YouTuber who did, and I will play that clip for you.
At least in the other Paranormal Activity movies, when the boring characters are doing boring ass shit, you still feel like there is a presence, but you don't know what it is. You know in the first Paranormal Activity movie, when the shit's going down, the girl was like, I hear something, and you hear this, and her hair blows, and you're like, oh my God, the thing was like right next to her, and I didn't know that. In this movie, the same thing would kind of happen, but you would see it. It'd be like, yeah, honey, the Christmas tree, it looks really nice. I really like the colors. I like the color scheme. I like it. I think this is gonna be a good, oh my God, I filmed something. Some strange, what was it? It's just dumb. When you see it, it just takes away the tension. Especially when the thing looks like a tendril-filled, formless CGI man.
Go subscribe to Jeremy Johns if you haven't. He's close to hitting 1 million subscribers, and he really deserves it because that shit was funny. That was more entertaining than this whole movie. All hour and 40 minutes of it.
Number 8. The Cokeville Miracle.
Hey guys, you love living in that age of exploitative religious films? No? Well, too fucking bad. Yeah, if you haven't noticed, the last few years especially, we've been getting flooded with religious films. God's Not Dead, Heaven's for Real, War Room, Courageous, The Cokeville Miracle. Now, I just wanted to state that I still do like the guy that played the main character of this, whose name I refuse to remember. He was a teacher of mine. He's a really cool guy, and he's done good work. Go look up some of the Saints and Soldiers videos he's in. This was not a good work. This was a piece of shit. A piece of shit that people cried at. I am not fucking kidding. Look, religious films don't have to be bad. I own 2 of them. Church Ball and The Best 2 Years. Go watch those films. They're actually really enjoyable and have good messages to them. This one tells you that if you can't find God, well, she's gonna divorce you and take away your kids. Even though you're a completely supportive dad who honestly has just reason to not believe in God anymore. Yes, I know this was based on a book, but I don't fucking care if it actually happened this way and this is his life story that he wrote out, because it's fucking stupid and manipulative. With some of the dumbest geniuses I've ever seen. By God, how did this happen in real life? Answer, these guys probably were actually smarter than this. That or, well, the police activity in Cokeville, Wyoming sucks. I can make fun of this movie all I want, because like the movie said, nobody was hurt except for the people who blew a bomb inside of a fucking school, remember? End of story. The Cokeville Miracle was a complete train wreck with, frankly, filmmaking that's better put on TV or directed video releases, not actual full budget theaters. Come on, guys. We can do better than this, right?
Number 7. Strange Magic.
And now we get to the reason why this is a top 11 video, because I refuse to take this movie off this list. Now, you see, the worst movies in my mind aren't the ones that have bad technical problems, like the camera work was bad, or the cinematography was bad, or the direction was bad. Those are all technical. They are completely technical. The worst movies are the ones that have some effort put into it. Things that they don't really deserve, like this one. The animation on this film is fucking gorgeous at times. It doesn't deserve this kind of animation. This movie deserved animation that belongs in like a stick figure parade. This film is marketed as some kind of fantasy epic with fairies and goblins and stuff that look little kids and maybe a little girl pandering that, well, I can understand in our heavy boy media. But nowhere is it fucking stated that it's a musical. A musical taking music that I grew up with and turning it into shitty 2000s pop. And it even had a really good design for its villain, the Bog King. He comes in all badass and epic, and even the song he sings wasn't that bad in comparison to the whole thing. How do we neuter him? He's not our villain. He's not. He's just a poor, trapped soul who doesn't have love. Because no one could love something so hideous, could they? This is exactly the message we want to send to kids, right? That, yeah, if you're ugly, you're this guy. This was by far the worst kids film I went to go see this year, and it deserves its place on this list. There's no arguing that.
Number 6. Chappie.
I'm waiting for that commenter. You know, the one that's going to say, I'm wrong and I just don't get it. Go ahead. Leave your comment below. 'Cause I'm about to shove it right up your ass, you fucking moron. Okay, I don't want to piss anybody off, but this movie sucked. A lot. Now, if you actually did watch my review, thank you. But if you actually did watch it, you might remember me saying that I'm just not a fan of this guy's work. District 9 was gross and unpleasant. Yeah, sure, it had some cool action-y bits and it had some political messaging that probably wasn't a bad thing to put out there. But in all honesty, it was just a dirty, disgusting film that I don't want to watch. Elysium is a dirty, disgusting movie with some political messages that the director can go shove right back up his ass along with Matt Damon. Elysium was a piece of shit. Now we get to this. His ripoff movie. And I do mean ripoff, because he ripped off so many ideas from other better science fiction movies so that he could glorify two rappers who no one gives two shits about. They made a music video that was stupid. That's why people liked it. Like Gangnam Style. No, I take that back. Gangnam Style at least had something appealing about it. It was fun to do the dance, even if you couldn't sing the song. These rappers suck. The movie is called Chappie. It's about a robot that gains sentience with its creator trying to teach him good, with a bad guy who's trying to demolish him. There's your movie. Why the fuck are we spending time with these two god-awful rappers who can barely act, let alone speak fucking English, and then, by God, try to make them out to be good guys? Those rappers kill people, steal from them so that they can act like they're gangsters. I have no sympathy for these people. And when the movie actually stops, literally stops, to tell them they're just doing what they have to survive this horrible world. Fuck you. Right up your stupid, privileged ass. Guess what? I'm from Utah. I understand that I don't have the biggest foresight on gangsters and whatnot, and the real dangers that they pose and whatnot, but you know what? It's called not being an idiot. It's about standing up. Yeah, when you're a kid and you're drawn into this, it's different. I completely understand that. You're impressionable. You don't necessarily know better. And the movie kind of acknowledged that with Chappie basically being a little kid who's being taught by just two people he's shoved with. Why couldn't we shove him with the creator so we could try to learn some good? I have no fucking idea. But these guys are grown-ass fucking adults who can make their own decisions. And I am not going to sit there and be patronized by this shit. I don't care that the CGI is brilliant. I don't care that the actor who was playing Chappie was beautiful. And in another movie, I would have loved both of that and be giving this movie praises for it. But as I said, the worst movies in my mind aren't the ones that are technically bad, but the ones that don't deserve how good they have it. By God, you did not deserve that good of motion capture. You did not deserve that good of an actor to play Chappie when you're going to spend the focus of your movie on these two fucking morons who, frankly speaking, don't deserve any credit in my mind. I listened to some of their other songs. They all suck. They all sound the same, repetitive bullshit. And that's saying a lot when the rap genre is basically that in a nutshell. They are literally the shit of rap. That's why Chappie is on this list. I'm sorry if that pissed you off. On to something that we can agree is all bad.
Number 5. Fantastic Four. Or as the internet has called it, Fan-4-Stick.
Yep. Fan-4-Stick. Fox's proof that they can't understand how to do a superhero team other than the X-Men. Why did I buy this? Because I knew I was going to have to do a review of it eventually for Cardmaster's Corner, and I got it for basically $5. Their super special edition, awesome, tacular version, $5. That's how shit this movie is. Now, let's completely forget that the director basically disowned this movie for a second. Let's completely forget studio interference, and let's just look at the movie itself for a second. It has 4 bland, interchangeable, smart people who only one of them has any form of personality with his fucking cars, which is completely dropped after this introduction, stuck inside of the Baxter building doing fucking nothing, and then going into a gray bunker for the other half of the movie. Let's face it, this movie was doomed to fail, and I think Fox knew that. First off, studio interference is bad, and I don't see a way they could have saved this movie. I'm just glad they made it a little shorter. Second off, Mr. Drake, I'm sorry to tell you, but your version of this movie still would have sucked. Despite what they did, we can still see what your movie was going to be. We can see the shards and shades, and we can even try to edit our own version out of it. It still has 4 bland leads stuck inside of a Baxter building and then stuck in a fucking bunker. There was nothing there to work with. Now, I have stated in other videos that I am personally not a fan of the Marvel Ultimate Universe, which this movie takes heavy inspiration from, right down to the Negative Zone giving them their powers. But this movie just didn't have the balls to call it the Negative Zone, they called it something else. I don't even care to know. I haven't picked up that movie since I fucking got it. Which already turned me off of this movie, not to mention that the tone is all wrong. Frankly speaking, we're tired of the dark superhero shit. We really are. Now, many of you might call that hypocritical considering I'm wearing a Deadpool shirt. The difference is, he makes it fun. What fun is there in the Fantastic Four? Or more specifically, what fun is there in Fan-4-Stick? Fantastic Four does have some interesting stuff going for it. They're basically a play on family archetypes. You have Reed Richards, who's the dad. He is a stubborn man who's obsessed with his work. He is literally the most flexible man in existence. You've got the soft, kind-hearted best friend who is a literal rock. You have Sue Storms, who is probably one of the most emotional people you can see, is literally invisible. She can't even be seen by her boyfriend, who is not her boyfriend inside of this, because she's pining for Dr. Doom, which is all kinds of wrong in my mind. And you have Johnny Storm, who is a literal hothead, on fire, trying to work with a team. I'm sorry, there's stuff to work with here. Why does Fox keep doing these movies wrong? And don't even forget what they fucking did to not Dr. Doom in this. I refuse to even call him Dr. Doom. I'm going to call him Genetic Cricket Boy. Because, by God, that was just fucking horrible. Dr. Doom! How could you... There are other Fantastic Four villains! Hell, you probably could have made a different one and he would have fit better in this role. And then save Dr. Doom's origin story in the background where he's, I don't know, one of the scientists who was working on it but got kicked off the project. I don't care. There's stuff you could have done with this. And that's probably why we all hate it so much. It's because it could have been good. Fox and Josh Trank chose not to make a good film. They chose to make another piece of shit so they could retain the rights and keep them from Disney Marvel, who, frankly, would have rebooted it into something enjoyable if Ant-Man is to be a benchmark for surprises that Marvel can pull.
Number 4. Vacation.
Oh my god. Why did I drink all of you? I have to talk about Vacation. Give me more! By far the worst comedy I have seen this year. Hell, I go as far as the worst comedy I've seen in a decade. This movie was unintelligent, immature, stupid, boring, and frankly speaking, deserved to go to fucking hell. Yet another reboot disguised as a sequel that, frankly speaking, should have stayed in the fucking trash. By God, there were people that were laughing in my theater. There were people laughing at a drawn dick on a car and 2 people trying desperately to wipe it off, even though it's clearly painted on, because it looks like they're wanking it. Let's laugh at Chris Hemsworth's prosthetic dick. You know, at least when Boogie Nights did this, it was a legitimate joke. The movie was stupid, predictable, had pointless cameos everywhere of people who should have been funny but weren't. I'm looking at you, Michael Pena. And frankly speaking, I wish that it never existed, because it was the first time I got into a movie where I literally wanted my money back, and I knew that I couldn't get it. And considering what's later on this list, you're going to find that pretty fucking surprising.
Number 3. The Gallows.
Anybody who watched my review of this knew it was coming. Well, here it is. The Gallows. Another found footage horror film. Filmed on an iPhone. Can't even shell out the money for a fucking camera, can you? What was extremely offensive about this movie was more of the marketing that claimed that its signature star, the Hangman, would somehow rival the stars of slasher horror out there, like Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees. First, you have to be a slasher to actually match up to them, just saying. Second, you should probably actually be in a good movie. This movie was following the most douchebaggy characters I thought I'd seen this year. Next, you have to be in a good movie. This movie is literally filmed at a high school. I've seen much better films in high school, most of them in animes. And this movie sucked. Its main characters were all douchebags. Granted, I don't think that they're as bad of douchebags, minus the one holding the camera, as the ones that were featured in the Green Inferno and Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, but by God, it was close. They're running around in the dark with a fucking iPhone locked in a school. There are ways out of the fucking school, even if a ghost is holding one fucking door shut. And when the one character who has tried to have something forming a redemption arc actually does something likable and makes me want to say, maybe it wasn't this bad, the movie decides to have a twist that is completely fucking stupid, comes out of nowhere, and makes no sense in the grand scheme of things. Because it doesn't make any sense that this girl was actually working with the ghost the whole time. Why would her reactions be this way? Why would a fucking school even decide to do this fucking play again after it killed somebody 20 years ago? Let alone let them make it look like the original, as much like the original. Build the set to look exactly like theirs. Make the handouts look exactly like theirs. God damn it. Just, no. No, no, no! Fuck! Give me more alcohol, please! Just move on to number 2. I've got nothing else to say about this fucking piece of shit.
Number 2. 50 Shades of Grey.
How many of you did I surprise by not putting this as number 1? Probably quite a few of you. Mostly considering that my number 1 is a film that nobody saw, but we'll get to that in a second. You literally made a film based on fan fiction. How did you think this was going to turn out? Of course this movie is bad. Why wouldn't it be bad? The question that everyone was asking though, was this going to be enjoyably bad? Nope. This movie was made for horny middle-aged women, and considering what's my number 1 on my most surprising list, which is coming out, I am really surprised that this is the movie that sucked shit. I really mean that. The sex sucked. It was poorly shot with a lead who apparently didn't want to do any nudity scenes. You were in 50 Shades of fucking shit. And you don't want to get naked? What is wrong with you? Admittedly, if I actually had to be inside of said film, I probably would have shot myself and just saved myself the trouble. On top of that, your acting fucking sucked, Gray. Yeah, it was great. I don't know if he got that, but yeah, Gray didn't want to be naked in the film, and his acting sucked on top of that. When the sex scenes suck, when the dialogue is delivered as though everybody wanted a job after this and refused to actually take part in the silliness that it is, when the fucking audience for this literally makes your theater feel wet and humid and moist and you can go to fucking hell. Now, before I get to my number one, I'm gonna just say this right now. None of you have guessed this. Now, I said in my other video that there was one film on this list that I didn't do a review for. And yes, it's breaking my rule, but I did it for the last list too. For just one movie. And there was one movie this year that was worse than anything I saw this year by a long shot. Now, people are going to start guessing inside the comments, what could possibly be that number one? Well, considering the only other bad film of heavy note that came out this year, somebody's going to say Pixels, isn't it? No. It's on my top 10 most disappointing, but if you actually watch my review of Pixels, I called everyone out on it. It was a knee-jerk reaction to yet another bad Adam Sandler movie, but a bad Adam Sandler movie that really wasn't all that bad. It had some decent effort put inside of it, and I will give credit where credit is due that there were some parts that were enjoyable. I'm really surprised that the critic actually agreed with me on that and basically said the same thing in his review. But no, people are forgetting there was another movie that Adam Sandler had a part in that came out this year. And if you say The Ridiculous 8, I'm going to tell you I'm only doing theater reactions. That probably would have made my list if I had actually counted anything that wasn't put in a theater. No. There was another movie that he had in hand in. It was only as a producer, but producing it was enough. And by God, this movie was so bad, I recorded a review for it. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. 3 reviews that I felt were so shitty, I refused to put them on YouTube. So yes, I may have made jokes to this inside my other videos. Many of you might have guessed it by now. But here is the worst movie of last year.
Number 1. Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
By far, I did not see a worse film this year. Now, for those who want an actual review of this stinker, let me give you my review in a nutshell. God, Jesus, damn it! Fuck! I'm sorry, I can't seem to remember that movie for some reason. I don't know. Okay, jokes aside. I can't even say that with a straight face. Going into this movie, Kevin James returns as Paul Blart. And of course, the only way to open this stupid piece of shit movie is with the scorched earth territory. Everything that happened in the last film, yeah, it fucking gets retconned within the first 6 minutes. No, it all happened. But that girl he ended up with, his loving mother, yeah, they're gone. That girl he ended up with divorced him within 6 days, and then his mother got ran over by a truck. And I'm supposed to find that funny. Okay, without this turning into a whole review, let me give you something. I kind of like the first Paul Blart. Okay? It was stupid. It was really stupid, but it was stupid in all the right ways. It felt like it was trying to basically parody Die Hard, and to an extent, I can say that they did, and it wasn't horrible. This movie, on the other hand, is nothing but horrible. It's stupid. It's completely contrived, and by God, there is no way that Kevin James or any of the other security officers could have done anything that was depicted in this movie. I didn't laugh once. I got one chuckle moment when a guy got repeatedly tased while Kevin James is talking to somebody. But let me ask this, when did Kevin James become MacGyver? Because he's actually putting together his own weapons when fighting these evil bad guys who are robbing these precious artworks from casinos, even though people know that the only artworks is in a single museum at the bottom floor of most of these casinos, and the rest of it is just fucking hotel rooms, because that makes so much sense. Now, I feel really bad for the actor who plays the bad guy in this one, running this whole thieving scheme. I'll put a picture right here and a name, but it really does say something when you've played the same character in 3 productions, all of which still say that it's crap. I'm glad that you're still getting work, but it's time to move on. No shit, between these cuts is about 10 minutes worth of footage of things that I just... not very good and I don't want to even put out. Paul Blart in this movie is literally trying to be an expendable character. He's trying to make himself out to be that badass that we all need, dropping his one-liners, making his electro taser fork thingy. Don't ask, it's stupid. Meanwhile, he's reverse psychologizing a lady into loving him? I'm sorry, Kevin James, it's bullshit enough that you end up being the president. That you could actually get a woman like that? Through reverse psychology? There's suspension of disbelief, then there's go the fuck away. In the end, there was nothing that could have saved this movie. It was dead on arrival. Nobody went and saw it. Hell, even some of the critics didn't even go see it. Bottom line, everything on this list fucking sucks. But there was one film that was worse than all of them. And, ladies and gentlemen, that is 2015. And that's it for me. So that was my top 11 worst films of the year. So what were your worst movies of the year? Tell me what you thought in the comments below and maybe we'll get some healthy discussion going. Mostly involving yelling and turning ourselves into trolls on this one, I imagine. And as always, if you want to see some more of my videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button and check out the channel. I'll have links for those up here along with the cards to other videos I've mentioned in this one. And if you want to see some of my more recent videos, including my top 10 best movies of the year list, I will have those linked right down there. And if you want to see any of the movies reviews I did for any of the movies on this list, just be sure to check out the description below. I have them all listed there as well as links. And as always, I'm Kelly, and I'll see you all next time.
Hey guys, Kelly here. Hey, I just wanted to thank you guys all for watching it. This video ended up being a lot longer than I thought it would be. Yeah, so I also wanted to tell you a little funny story. So, literally as I'm editing this, I get an alert saying that Jeremy Johns just uploaded a video. Oh, a new review. So I went and checked it out. No, it's his thank you for getting him to 1 million subscribers thing. So, yeah, just wanted to say that I recorded this with every intention of trying to help him, and then he went and did it anyway. Go ahead and subscribe to him. Subscribe to me. Thanks for watching this video to its entirety, because I know for a fact that this was long. I cut probably a good hour of footage off this. I did not think I was ranting that long. But, yeah, I want to thank you guys all. Be sure to check everything out, and take care.